questions to demonstrate my understanding of key details in text. I will read closely to determine what the text says. Okay, readers, so today, remember, we've been reading Cloudy with a Chance of Meatballs. We've studied a lot about how Earth changes over time. Who can tell me one way Earth changes over time quite a bit? What are some things that happen to our Earth? Yes? Erosion. Who can define erosion for us? Yes?
Dinosaurs were alive, a meteor hit.
Well, that was how maybe that changed the Earth, but who can define erosion? High five someone next to you and discuss what it is, and I bet you can find it somewhere in the classroom. Right here. What could cause it? Oh, do. High five that partner you had. Put your thumb to your heart now if you're ready. Anna, what is erosion?
Erosion is
Who would like to? Dominic.
when part of the land are worn away.
When parts of the land are worn away. Ready? Erosion. When parts of the land are worn away. So, what are some things that can cause erosion? High five that neighbor. Now discuss. Think of our weather word walls. What are some of those? Think of our weather word wall of vocabulary we met. What can happen? That is right. You are so smart. All that kind of good stuff, right? You're so right. Good job. Give that brain a kiss. You got it, Tristan. Doot. Eyes up. Posture straight. So, Tristan had something great. What are things that can cause erosion?
Earthquake, a flood, and a sandstorm.
Floods, earthquakes, sandstorms, all these kinds of things. Yes? Hurricanes, maybe. Ooh, yeah, because they have that flooding. And what about a downpour? Maybe?
A drizzle.
Maybe we're going to investigate our vocabulary a little deeper today. So, remember, in reading, I can ask and answer questions to demonstrate my understanding of key details in text. I will read closely to determine what the text says. All right, let's look over here. What is close reading?
Reading
The same text multiple times until... Dominic?
You can explain it.
You can't explain it. Thumbs up. We're going to be able to explain Cloudy with a Chance of Meatballs. You betcha. All right, what else? Armando?
You know the main idea and key detail?
You know them, okay? All right. Sarah?
You can ask and answer questions.
All right, all together.
Close
reading is digging deeper. Say that again. Show me. Dig it.
Close
reading is digging deeper. So, friends, we have already read the book. We've broke the surface. Our second read, we kind of got a little more information. And this third reading today of the story, we are going to understand it even deeper. Are you ready?
Yes.
Okay. Cloudy with a Chance of Meatballs. And I actually remember how Miss Levitt scanned it, and it kind of didn't. We were all sitting around the big kitchen table. It was Saturday morning, pancake morning. Mom was squeezing oranges for Henry. Henry and I were betting on how many pancakes we
You said
each...
for Henry.
I'm sorry, what?
You said for Henry.
Oh, I'm sorry. Mom was squeezing oranges for juice. Excuse me. Henry, thank you. Good catch. High five and give that brain a kiss. Good readers are always tracking. Henry and I were betting on how many pancakes we could eat, and Grandpa was doing the flipping.
Miss Levitt said 5.
Seconds later, something flew through the air, headed towards the kitchen ceiling, and landed right on Henry. After we realized that the flying object was only a pancake, we all laughed, even Grandpa. Breakfast continued quite uneventfully. All the other pancakes landed in the pan, and all of them were eaten, even the one that landed on Henry. Can someone tell me who is telling the story right now? Oh, come to your heart. Kayla,
The kids.
the children. Now, I'll ask you in a second. Remember our background knowledge from yesterday. That night, touched off by the pancake incident at breakfast, Grandpa told us the best tall tale bedtime story he'd ever told. What is a tall tale?
Tall.
Christia?
Tall is.
Would you like some help from one of your friends? Who can help her?
A tall tale is like it's a story that you just make up.
Or it can be based on true events, but it's kind of a story that, like, all these things happen that could they really happen?
No.
They're kind of unbelievable, right? All right, so let's listen to the story. Across an ocean, over lots of huge bumpy mountains, across 3 hot deserts and 1 smaller ocean. Who's telling the story now? How do we know? And tell me why. Tell me why. Who is telling the story now? Anthony. The grandpa is. Now, how do you know that? What happened? It went from black and white to what now, Anthony? To what, Malcolm? Help him out. To more colors. There lay the tiny town of Chew and Swallow. In most ways, it was very much like any other tiny town. It had a main street lined with stores, houses with trees and gardens around them, a schoolhouse, about 300 people, and some assorted cats and dogs. But there were no stores in the town of Chew and Swallow. They didn't need any. The sky supplied all the food they could possibly want. The only thing that was really different about Chew and Swallow was its weather. It came 3 times a day, at breakfast, lunch, and dinner. Everything that everyone ate came from the sky. Whatever the weather served, that was what they ate. But it never rained rain, it never snowed snow, and it never blew just wind. It rained things like soup and juice. It snowed mashed potatoes and green peas. And sometimes the wind blew in storms of hamburgers. I love this. Let's look at those hamburgers. Ooh, I'm glad we're doing this right before lunch. It makes me kind of hungry.
Me too.
The people could watch the weather report on television in the morning, and they would hear a prediction for the next day's food.
Mrs. Levitt, the other page, they put like spoons and knives and forks on the closet.
I like how you noticed that. Can you share that and track the speaker? Please stand up and tell them. Come up and show us. What did you just notice? And that is what good readers do. You're digging deeper in your close read. She even looked at the rich illustrations.
Like there is spoons, knives, and forks and plates up there.
So usually what goes in a closet?
Clothes.
Maybe like your jacket to get ready for outside, right? What do they get ready to go outside with?
Fork, knives, plates.
Give that brain a kiss. Good job knowing that.
Has some on his hand.
I know. So
on top.
that is an illustration. So do you see this illustration? That is something good readers do. Is you look at the pictures to even understand more detail of the text. Yes, Armando.
I know. Since Fabi said about the forks and stuff. I just noticed that there's one on top too.
Oh, look, they have
Oh,
other.
yeah.
Yeah. Fabi, thank you so much.
Good job, Patty.
When the townspeople went outside, they carried their, so when he was getting ready, and now it goes into this page. When the townspeople went outside, they carried their plates, cups, glasses, forks, spoons, knives, and napkins with them. That way, they would always be prepared for any kind of weather. If there were leftovers, and there usually were, the people took them home and put them in their refrigerators in case they got hungry between meals. The menu varied. By the time they woke up in the morning, breakfast was coming down. After a brief shower of orange juice, low clouds of sunny side-up eggs moved in, followed by pieces of toast. Butter and jelly sprinkled down for the toast, and most of the time it rained milk afterwards. Yes.
Instead of the birds taking a shower in water, they're taking it in juice.
Maybe they're getting their nutrition as well. Yes.
If you go to another page on the bottom where the girl is holding the umbrella full of like soup or something, or juice, the dog has it is full on
I know.
his head.
So do you see why good readers reread? So we can see all these extra details.
Look at his face.
For lunch one day, Frankfurters, already in their rolls, blew in from the northwest at about 5 miles an hour. There were mustard clouds nearby. Then the wind shifted to the east and brought in baked beans. A drizzle of soda finished off the meal. Dinner one night consisted of lamb chops, becoming heavy at times, with occasional ketchup. Periods of peas and baked potatoes were followed by gradual clearing, with a wonderful jello setting in the west. All right, so right now what I'd like to do is we've gathered and now we'll scatter. I'd like you to go back to your pods or your tables in a second. Wait, because I need to give you the directions. So I want you as a team to look at the posters on your desk, and in collaborating together, you are going to tell me what actually is breakfast, what actually is dinner, or I'm sorry, lunch, and what is actually dinner. What are these meals? And then I'd like you to go back after and tell me how they affected, what was the effect of breakfast on Chew and Swallow townspeople? What was the effect on lunch for the townspeople of Chew and Swallow? What was the effect of dinner for people on Chew and Swallow? Okay, can we do that? All right, Fran, please choose 3 people to get up. Oh, and just remember your points in your head. And just remember the points in your head and go back. Very good. I'm going to give you some markers to work together. So please remember, tell me what these 3 things are.
First the best. But I do a different one. First the best, second the nerd, and third the worst. So you're the nerd.
So what is breakfast? What is it?
Wait, how is Miss Deborah gonna know which one's which one? The points. How is she gonna know which bucket's which bucket? Oh, she knows the points are.
What is breakfast? Okay, I want you to work together. What is breakfast? What is it?
Breakfast is something to get you ready for lunch, so you can have enough energy.
Okay, why don't you write that? That's great. Perfect. Energy, like, so it's what you eat. When does it come? When do you
In the
eat
morning.
it? Okay, so let him write. Maybe switch spots.
Okay, switch spots.
So Malcolm, what, you guys, if you're looking at this, what exactly is breakfast? What is it? So you might have pancakes, but what actually is
A
breakfast?
morning meal?
Beautiful. Write that down. Thank you. Give the brain a kiss.
This is juice and pancake.
So that is so maybe you want to put some things like juice. Help him spell it out, girls.
J. Oh, it's a J. No, J.
J. J.
Okay.
J. Like jungle.
G.
Like joke.
Like this. J. Line. You don't have to make a J.
So, and I want you to think about when you eat it.
What? That's G.
Okay. So I want you to think about it. So it comes in the morning. What is lunch?
Lunch is like when you
Okay, right that. Good, good. So I see you're putting a lot of the things you eat. I want you to define what, honey? Oh, morning. Okay, good. So I want you to actually tell me what it actually is, not what I'm going to eat. Because what if I want a hamburger for breakfast? But yeah. Okay, what is lunch then?
It comes in.
I like how you're telling me some things you eat, but sometimes for breakfast I don't necessarily have this. So I want you to tell me, what is it? What is breakfast? Think about when you eat breakfast.
I eat eggs. I do.
Okay, when you eat that though, do you eat breakfast right before you go to bed?
Breakfast before you go to bed.
Is that when you do that? That face. When you eat it,
in the
Anthony.
morning.
So do you need to say, and it's a type of what?
Breakfast.
It's a type of
Meal.
It's a meal you eat in the
Morning.
Good, write that down.
Next time I do it, just cross it out. Kind of still in the morning.
For us, or it's maybe in the middle, kind of.
Middle. In the middle.
Okay.
What do you say?
In the afternoon.
Yeah, it's M-I-N-G.
When it is good.
See?
Okay. Now you guys have done a wonderful job. Now I want you to tell me, what were the differences in chew and swallow? What happened? What were the effects of breakfast?
They lunch is eggs and
What happened though in chew and swallow for their breakfast?
like they said like kind of like lunch like
What fell from the sky?
eggs and bread and lunch
Do. Eyes up. Readers, I'd like you to think now the effects. You've done a wonderful job at defining what breakfast, lunch, and dinner are. You will get there because you're doing such a good job. Oh, I'm going to wait till all eyes are tracking the speaker like a star scholar. So, once you've told me, maybe look at this. How did the effects of the weather in Schuesswell, how did that affect the people for their breakfast? How did it change? I want you to think maybe here was their breakfast. This is what their breakfast would look like. Go ahead and go. Right.
jelly.
Right here. So how did it affect their breakfast?
It's effective because when they woke up, it was on your cheek.
Put it. Love it. Good. Got it. What happened? What happened? Is that what breakfast looks like at your house?
No.
Or at our school?
No.
So what were the effects on the town?
It gets stuck everywhere.
Okay, write that.
It gets stuck.
So is this what breakfast looks like at your home?
No. This is how
At school, when we eat breakfast, does it look like this?
No, like
So
on the tree.
what happened in Chew and Swallow? Okay, you can write that. Would it maybe make a mess?
I don't make a mess.
I don't know.
Make a
All
mess
those good
in
things.
lawn.
Okay,
Make a mess
Yeah, but let's go back to here. I want you to think of chew and swallow. Look at that breakfast. Does that look like anything, Anthony, that you have? Even though you don't eat at school with us, you eat at home? Is that what happens? You walk outside and that happens? No. Can you write? So, no, what were the effects that happened to that town?
It rained.
So it just came from the
Sky.
beautiful. That's fine.
I gave him my
You didn't give it to him, you shared it. Thank you.
Come from there. See? Oh, and
All right. Doot, 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 doot. Eyes up. Eyes up. All right. I now want you to look at lunch. What were the effects on chew and swallow for their lunchtime?
It would rain.
Oh, Dominic and Kayla do need to. We're always active participants. I want you to put the effects of
Lunch, what does it affect? It comes in the afternoon. It comes in the afternoon.
30 seconds and then we'll gather.
No, down here. No, it's okay. It's okay.
Does that look like a
Should this? Are you telling me this should go right here maybe? It's in the morning, but the effect is that it made a mess everywhere, right?
Make a mess everywhere. Okay, hot dogs. We need one again. Okay, that's a beat. That's a beat. Yeah. You want me to change this into a beat? Into a beat?
3, 2, 1. Come join me. Leave it. It is okay. Walking.
You change your shoes?
Did you change your shoes on Friends, I am going to ask a reporter from each of your groups to tell me the weather in Chew and Swallow. So, what the events that occurred, okay, they describe everyday kind of normal life, right? For Chew and Swallow, please be an active participant. So the citizens were able to use the weather for their actual what?
Food?
Their food. They were able to use that, okay? So, in this part of the story, so if we look at this part of the story, look at this part. Are they looking happy?
Yes.
So what were some positive things about the weather in Chew and Swallow? Think back. Think back to what you collaborated on. Yes, Armando.
It made them happy
So why though?
because the breakfast is covered up in the sky. They didn't have to make their breakfast.
They didn't have to make their breakfast. They never had to make their meals.
The sky did.
Oh, hold on, buddy. What else? They never had to make their meals. What else? Anthony. They didn't have to buy. They didn't have to buy things in the store, so
They
they
didn't
could.
have to waste their money.
So they saved their money. Money because why? They wouldn't have to go where?
To the store.
Okay. Saved money because they wouldn't have to go buy. What else? What else would be a positive thing about the weather in these pages? What else? What else would be something positive that would happen? They would save money because they wouldn't have to go to the store. They never had to make their meals. I'm going to think to myself as a reader, what good readers do is they make a connection to their self and maybe to the text. I know that it's really hard for me sometimes after school to figure out what to make for dinner when I get home. What do you think would make it easier if I lived in Chew and Swallow? High five someone and tell them, what would it make it easier for me if I lived in Chew and Swallow?
Yeah.
You join a lot. Join Kayla. High five. High five, Anna.
It would have been easier for Miss Levitt
Anna.
because she didn't have to
And you and
make
Fabi. No, Diego, go with Anna. And you three girls.
Get her stuff to eat and all of that, and then she puts it outside. And when she goes back in, when she goes back in, and she gets drinks for free. Yeah, she can use
Meals would already be.
You
What's
wouldn't
that
even
word?
have to worry about
Would they already be
for you.
or kind of?
Landing
They'd already been planned. It wouldn't have been any.
Oh, I have
What
an
do you
idea.
guys think? What did you guys think?
that you'll be easier because when you come home from school, you don't have to even with the buy you don't have to get go to the store and buy something. You can just grab your spoon or knife.
So it saved me time.
Yeah.
Saved me a lot of time.
Doggy, doggy.
I could stay late
You
with you
painted
guys.
me at me. Oh, you can also drive and get your food. It's like that.
Who can share with me what would a positive effect be on those people, on the townspeople of Chew and Swallow? Anthony.
When they get a tummy ache, they get sick.
But what would this be a positive? That's kind of a negative. You could think of a positive thing. Diego.
They have to buy they didn't have to buy the food to waste their money.
So we have that. Would I have to think about what I'm going to eat?
No.
Why?
Because the sky provided all the food you needed.
So the sky provides food, so I don't have to plan what to eat.
So Charlize wouldn't.
Yeah, Charlie.
She just goes outside. So would Malcolm.
Yeah. The food already planned and prepared. How about? Now, I want you. We're going to add to this. I might go a little over, sorry. I want to add to this. As we continue to read, what were some negative effects though? Think of breakfast. What was one, Jacqueline, that your team said? What would be a negative, like an effect of having that happen? It's very what? What is it, Fabi?
Like when you eat too much and you get a stomach ache.
Oh, so when we continued to read, when we continued to read? What were some problems? What were some negative effects?
It made a mess everywhere.
It was messy. It's messy.
I know.
And good readers can recall from the text. And I like how Fabiola recalled from, when was that they got sick? Do you remember?
Yeah, that's
When they ate those cream cheese sandwiches, because they're delicious. But if I eat too many, I'm going to get a what? Yeah, you'll get stomach aches from too much food. They spell it right. From too much food.
And he's still eating.
Okay. I want you then, how did they handle the effects of the weather? Like, so, if we're kind of starting, and we'll add to our chart more, but I want you to think of the sanitation department. So we'll go back here. And let me read this. The sanitation department of Chew and Swallow had a rather unusual job for a sanitation department. It had to remove all the food that fell on the houses, sidewalks, and lawns. The workers cleaned things up after every meal and fed all the dogs and cats. Then they fed some of it into the surrounding oceans for the fish and turtles and whales to eat. The rest of the food was put back into the earth so that the soil would be richer for the people's flower gardens. Are there any positive effects to that?
Yeah.
Armando, I bet you know one. What is this called when we put soil back into the earth?
The compost.
So they used compost. So they created compost. So even though it's messy, compost was created, and who else was fed?
The dogs. And the
So
cats.
animals were being able to take care of, right? Animals were fed. So,
Negative.
what's that?
What if the food falls on the trees and the birds poop on it and it can become dirty?
Oh yeah, so there might be.
And they won't be, and the tree won't be.
So maybe. So there's a lot. This looks like a big job, right? So a lot of cleanup. That's kind of a negative. Lots to clean up.
Like my room.
I know a negative.
So let's continue this more. We'll add on to our charts. What's one more?
You will have to clean out your trees because they'll get stuck on it.
Yeah, so it's messy. All these things are little negatives, right? Jacqueline.
The trees won't be able to clean our air.
Oh, that is so insightful. Can you stand up and track the speaker, please? She just noticed something about if all this is stuck to the trees, what happens?
The trees are not gonna make the air clean.
So trees
job,
can't grow,
Jacqueline.
the trees might not grow leaves. Might not grow to give us fresh air. Give us clean, fresh air. Very good. That is so insightful. Give your brain a kiss, Jacqueline. That was very good. Thank you. All right. So as we look, I want to go back and let's look at this because we are going to be very close readers. So can you put your detective hats on and make sure you have
My current.
your little
Yeah,
close little magnifying glass. All right. After a brief shower of orange juice, low clouds of sunny side up eggs moved in, followed by pieces of toast. Butter and jelly sprinkled down for the toast, and most of the time it rained milk afterward. Butter and jelly sprinkled. Let's extend our vocabulary. And what does the word sprinkled mean? High five someone next to you. And I want you to discuss with them, what does the word sprinkled mean? Talk. What does sprinkled mean?
What does sprinkle mean? Sprinkle means when you sprinkle means like when little pieces come in the jug.
Here, join with these two boys right there. Perfect. What does sprinkled mean?
Or you just sprinkle
Then do 3. 10 more seconds. I need that great, insightful talking, friends. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. So in this part, okay, what does sprinkled mean? And I don't want you to just tell me. We're going to add this to our vocabulary and extend it. So, you are going to come up and write this for me. What does sprinkled mean?
Sprinkle means there's food coming.
Well, let's not think about well, how did it come from the sky though? It came like what?
Clouds.
What comes from the clouds?
Rain.
Rain. Can you write rain? R. A-I-N. Who can extend that though? Sprinkle though. Think about sprinkled. I want you to use the illustrations. Sprinkled. What does it actually look like too? It is rain, but what type of rain? Yes. Who else? Malcolm?
Like flowing slowly.
Slow coming down. So put maybe slow.
Malcolm shared my answer.
Maybe, oh, that's great. Slow. Okay, what else? Slow or very what? Sarah?
Drizzle.
It might go with drizzle. We're going to explore that word later, but what else?
You could go by drip.
So drip, drip, drip. Good job.
Drop.
Maybe do a drip and then a drop.
Drip, drop. Drip, drop. Oh, water gets to your tap.
Drip drops, okay.
Drip, drop.
Jacqueline?
Water gets to your tap.
Carefully. I love that word. Carefully. E. Carefully. Okay. Who else? Armando?
Like calmly.
Calm. Very good. It's kind of calm, just a sprinkle.
Oh, sorry.
Calmly. And what about, it's a light rainfall, right? Light rainfall. I'm going to add mine. Who can defend that by looking at the illustration? How can you defend that what sprinkled means? Butter and jelly sprinkled down for the toast. How can you defend what that means? Look at how it's, look at the illustration. Talk to someone next to you. Go. How is it sprinkling down?
Sprinkling down because it always does that.
And look at maybe his cup.
It's raining for you to go.
But is it splashing all over his cup?
It's really it's
Where can you explain that? Go up and show me.
Stop it. Stop.
5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Sarah, can you come up and show? She had a great insightful. She noticed that the little boy, she knew it was lightly coming down because look at how, and tell us. Oh, I want our, can you please repeat and then I'll have someone revoice.
Because if it was raining faster, juice, then the water would be splashing out. And if it wasn't raining faster, it wouldn't be splashing out. Like when just stay calm.
So it's just kind of dripping. Who can repeat what she said? Dominic, come up. That's okay. Jacqueline.
Sarah said that if it was raining fast,
If it had been going down faster,
it would be splashing out.
let's add to that. Can you add on, Anthony? If it had been going down faster, it would have been what? Splashing out. Did it, Dominic? Is it splashing totally out of there? Or is it just what?
Dripping in.
It's just dripping in. Very good. Thank you for all of you working together. Give your brains a kiss and go sit down. All right. And it's just little bits, right? Now, let's look at the next page, okay, friends? For lunch, this is probably one of my favorite pages in the story. For lunch one day, Frankfurters, what's a Frankfurter? What do you think? Yeah. Already in their rolls, blew in from the northwest at about 5 miles an hour. There were mustard clouds nearby.
I see something funny in this.
Then the wind shifted to the east and brought in a, here's our next vocabulary word, drizzle. Drizzle of soda that finished off the meal. So let's read it again. So you're active listening, whole body listening. Close readers are whole body listeners and active participants. For lunch one day, Frankfurters, already in their rolls, blew in from the northwest at about 5 miles an hour. There were mustard clouds nearby. Then the wind shifted to the east and brought in baked beans. A drizzle, look at my hands, a drizzle of soda finished off the meal. Talk to a different partner about how you can extend the word drizzle. What are some other words for it? What does it mean? Go, talk.
Drizzle means
What do you think it is? I'll be right with you guys. What's drizzle mean?
drizzle means like it's coming like slowly.
So it's basically like another type of sprinkle. Are these kind of the same word?
Like sprinkles when you have the bottle, it drizzles down. I know it goes by dot by dot.
All right. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Thumbs up if you and your partner saw that drizzle and sprinkled are quite a bit alike.
I know
Angel, can you tell us what you said?
drizzle is like sprinkled. It comes down slowly.
Comes.
Like if you have a bottle of sprinkles for your ice cream, when you pour it down, it comes by a little bit.
Oh, kind of like when you went to youth swirl, your sprinkles. Yeah. Okay, that's good. Sprinkling. What else?
It comes
It's very what? Slow. And it's, what about, it's also very what? What does the author show? A drizzle of soda finished off the meal. Alondra, maybe just a gentle fall. Great.
It's raining.
Careful. So we could even add careful. Alondra B, what else? How does the author help you illustrate or help you understand by the illustration?
By the
I want you to imagine, close your eyes. Imagine when you pour a soda into a cup. What does it do? It
finish.
It
fills.
but what it kind of has those kind of little bubbles, and does it make a little fizz?
Fizzle.
Kind of a little fizz. And also, I want to show you drizzle. I'm going to teach you a new vocabulary word. It's like a light mist. Okay? So we're going to add light, and we're going to add mist. These are all synonyms for drizzle or somewhat that can explain it. All right. What's the difference between a downpour and a drizzle?
Wait, I know what the difference is.
Well, go, talk. 3, 2, 1. 1 minute here. Go. What's the difference between a downpour and a drizzle? You two girls talk. We'll talk. What's the difference?
Okay, this makes this.
Like, does it fall fast or slow? Yeah, if it's down, it's crazy, huh? Yeah.
A downpour is just like
What are the effects of a downpour? What could happen with a downpour? Erosion?
because like when it's hard, not the downpour is fast and little bits.
Yeah.
And it actually like in all of them it invented produced to make a little hole.
5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Eyes up.
Eyes up.
Posture straight.
Posture straight.
What is the difference between a drizzle and downpour? What's the difference? Kayla, what's the difference? Not between these two, but a drizzle and a downpour. What's the difference? I'm going to come back to you and have you revoice. Fran? So drizzle's light. What's a downpour then like? It's like going really fast. Okay. What else? What else? Who isn't shared yet? Who isn't shared yet? Babby? What's the difference between a drizzle and a downpour? Well, think about the drizzle and a downpour. Christian. What did Angel say? Okay, I want you to go back and talk again. What's the difference? Go. 3, 2, 1, go. Find someone different. So you two guys, you two. Armando, I want you with Dominic. You're with me. What's the difference? Babby, Kayla, come around and be with Christian. Or Anna with Christian. Angel. You're with her. Yeah, what's a downpour then? What's the opposite of slow? What's the opposite of slow? It's not slow, then it has to be fast. Oh, okay, so a downpour is going to be what? 3, 2, 1, eyes up!
Eyes up!
Anthony, what is the difference? Come up and stand up. What is the difference between a downpour and a drizzle?
It goes fast.
A downpour goes fast, and a drizzle goes what? Nice and slow. What else? Thank you. Give your brain a kiss. Kayla, stand up. Share with us. What's the difference? Pockets. What's the difference? drizzle. What is a drizzle like? It's very... A drizzle is slow, and then a downpour is fast. Okay, she repeated. You can say it in their own words. Angel.
A drizzle goes slowly, and a downpour splashes all over the place.
Oh, so it's gonna make a mess. Armando, you had some background knowledge, and I want you to give him a thumbs up if you agree. What was yours? What you made a link to when we studied erosion.
That when
Give them the example.
everybody tried to make like some houses,
When we did the village,
Yeah.
remember?
and well, when we saw it went like that, it was like a downpour, but it created like a hole,
And it did what? It
flooded it.
flooded it. Okay? So if I get a drizzle outside, is it going to flood probably?
No. Maybe.
No, well, it'd have to be a long time. But if I have a downpour, is it more likely to flood?
Yeah.
It's a lot more likely to flood. Okay. So tomorrow we're going to go into more vocabulary about the difference between and I don't know where my pen went. Actually, let's look at one more because you are such on a roll. This last one, I want you to look at gradual clearing. Dinner one night, let's be whole body listeners. Dinner one night consisted of lamb chops, becoming heavy at times with occasional ketchup. Periods of peas and baked potatoes were followed by a gradual clearing with wonderful jello setting in the west. What do you think a gradual clearing is? Put your thumb to your heart if you can share. What do you think a gradual clearing, or how does the author help you understand what a gradual clearing means? What's happened? Gradual clearing. What's happened to the sky?
It's changing.
What's happened to the sky? What do you notice? Look at the illustration. Periods of peas and baked beans were followed by a gradual clearing with a wonderful jello setting in the west. Look at the picture. What's happened? What do you notice about the sky?
It's clear.
What?
It's clear.
It's clear. So what do you think? So he's left. Are there as many what?
Clouds.
Are there as many clouds?
No.
No. So this author and the illustrator has shown you what gradual clearing can mean. Okay? Now, tomorrow, I want you to think about these vocabulary words. You'll be getting with partners to continue reading the rest of the book, but you each are getting your own copy. So you can each do your own close read. Look at, I know, so many. You're each going to be doing your own copy or having your own copy so you can really read the text as a close reader.